Good evening. It's been a watershed week for Nigeria's aviation and economic landscape. From the resolution of a 2-decade-long legal standoff at Lagos' busiest domestic terminal to a multi-billion naira push for cultural tourism, the renewed hope agenda is hitting its stride. We also look at a sector under pressure as soaring fuel costs and mounting debts threaten to ground domestic carriers. Here is the AT&T 360 Dateline News. My name is Rikefe Onofe. MMA2 concession resolved. In what is being described as a brotherhood agreement, the federal government has finally settled the 20-year dispute with Bicotny Aviation Services Limited. Minister Festus Keyamo confirmed that Bicotny has waived a 132 billion liability previously owned by the government. Territorial shifts. The government regains control of the JAT MM1 terminal, and the controversial exclusivity clause is gone, clearing the legal path for the new Lekki airport. New regional hub. In a major trade-off, MMA2 will now host regional flights. The government has even committed to expanding the terminal's aprons to accommodate more aircraft. The 24-month clock. Bicotny has 2 years to complete the long-abandoned hotel and conference center opposite the terminal, which will now operate on a revenue-sharing basis with the state. Tourism, emergencies, and polio. The National Economic Council, NEC, chaired by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, met virtually to drive subnational performance. Cultural investments. All 36 states and the FCT has been directed to contribute 200 million each, totally 7.4 billion to launch Niger season, a unified national tourism calendar aimed at creating 1 million jobs by 2030. The 112 Lifeline. The Council officially adopted 112 as a single national emergency number. VP Shettima warns that citizens do not need bureaucracy in moments of panic. They need a response. Financial health. The Accountant General reported the excess crude account stands at $535,823,000, while the stabilization account holds $72.84 billion. Aviation industry under siege. While the government celebrates policy wins, the operational reality for airlines is turning grim. The fuel crisis. Jet A1 prices have surged between 1,760 naira and 2,037 per litre. The Aviation Safety Roundtable has warned President Tinubu that the sector is in a full-blown emergency. Ground handlers ultimatum. A 9 billion debt owed by the domestic airlines has pushed ground handling companies to the brim. Firms like NACO and Skyway Sakor have threatened to withdraw services starting Tuesday, which would effectively paralyze flight operations. Aero Contractors versus AMCON. The Aviation Union, NUTH, has slammed AMCON for crippling aero contractors by refusing funding and allegedly diverting internal funds, calling for total divestment to save the airline. Global ties and new horizon. Despite the turbulence, Nigeria is expanding its footprint in the skies. Governor Umo Eno and Minister Kiyamu joined the maiden international flight of Ibom Air from Uyo to Accra, Ghana, marking a historic expansion for the state-owned carrier. British Airways at 90. FAN MD Olubunmi Kuku hosted British Airways executives to celebrate 90 years of operations in Nigeria, focusing on its infrastructure upgrades at Lagos and Abuja. Honesty at MMIA. In heartwarming note, airport staff Frank Omorije is being hailed as a hero after returning a lost purse containing $1,700 and 2 international passports to a traveler at Lagos Airport. With new rails projects valued at nearly $3 billion also receiving the green light today, the infrastructure map of Nigeria is being redrawn. But for the millions of travelers and thousands of workers in the aviation sector, the immediate focus remains on whether the government can stabilize fuel prices before the engines stop running. That is the news today at AT&T 360 Dateline News. My name is Rike Feunofe. Good evening.